The Greyscales have had a stranglehold over the rest of the competition here, but they faced arguably their biggest challenge yet in Archery. This event took place in Season 2 and Season 3, and both times Greyscales got dead last. In fact, looking at our past medalists, Moneymakers and Hellclowns are two winners. Blue Brigade, Green Peacocks, Marauders, and Neptune Nomads also filled out the podium. A few of those teams aren't here in the A-League, but we will show how it's done here in the Expedition pre-show. Each team will send in all 4 of their marbles to try to get as close to the center as possible.
It's a cumulative score, and you can interfere with your teammates. And straight away, Super Cat's has show us what a bullseye looks like. There will be a color graphic very shortly, 2 bullseyes in fact, a color graphic very shortly showing the scores for each color. It goes 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 on both sides, and getting it in the middle means you get an average of those 2 middle scores. Now you can interfere, but if your teammate is right up against the block, then you cannot interfere, and it will just be whatever that score is. It makes more sense when we get into the main event. But there you see color values: 10, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 with the average. So you want to get as many of those whites as you can, but if too many marbles bounce off the board, you could interfere with your teammates and throw them off to very poor scores. It's in reverse championship order, so the Green Platoon will go first and the Greyscales will go last. Everyone, I'm sure, looking forward to that one, given the Greyscales history, but they're here to prove the naysayers wrong as the Green Platoon line up first.
Bayo, the captain, and Gulf, the reserve, in the back, subbed in for this event. We'll see how this goes for them. And the first marble will get an 8, square into the light blue block. Second marble follows on that same line. They will also get an 8. Third marble, tries to go for the bullseye. Gets it. I think that'll be a 9 in between the white and the light blue. And the last marble will drift off to the left side. So a fast-paced descent here. All of the marbles coming in quick succession. It's going to be an 8, 8, 9, and 8. Very consistent effort, in fact. And that is 33. That's going to be a very respectable total. Might even see them on the podium here. We'll see how the Party Crashers compare. A team notably not good in team events. If this doesn't compare very well to that, Lagoon might have put down a great total here. And instantly, the first marble goes way off to the right side.
Well, a 6 and an 8 is not bad start forward immediately, but it would look like to be a 9, could have even been a bullseye, the stewards will decide that, and then another 8. So only one really straight away from what the Green Platoon score was. So that's still a very good result by the Party Crashers. The record here, of course, is a 34 by the Blue Brigade, set back in Season 2, and only 3 away were the Party Crashers in second place, and the Green Platoon, in fact, were only 1 away from equaling that record. So that is an interesting thing to think about. The first 2 runs, particularly strong here, as run 3 Cheese Ball is going to having to equal that is going to be a challenge in of itself. And the first one does go a little bit wide, look to be a 6, possibly even a 7, and then there's looks like 2 8s for the Cheese Ball. So again, it's a consistent effort, but there's a marble sitting in front of the ramp. It throws off his teammate, and it's only good enough for a 6 from member 4. But again, not a bad one at all. 6 and higher. If you can get all of those in 6 or higher, you should get a decent result, provided they're not all 6. And there you see 29, still pretty respectable score.
Yeah, still probably ironing out that team dynamic, some of the marbles in the way there. The follow through in this event after you have gone down is important. You want to make a clear path for your competitors, as the popsicles will go down and the first marble will once again go off to the right side. They drift off a little bit towards the left side, and one of the marbles will go way off to the left. Third one does do decent, and the final one, I think that was a bullseye, recovering nicely, but it was very inconsistent for the popsicles. That second one especially is going to get a very poor result. That's going to be a 3, and then it's an 8 and a 10, which will recover to 4th place out of 4 here, 27, but that could have been a lot worse for the popsicles.
Indeed, that bullseye at the end, really, they spread out the competitors wide, so they had the way to get to the bullseye, which was clever, but there was still some contact. Throwing off some scores, and the first one by the Rosemarys here is well off to the right side. That is not a good start whatsoever. They recover with a bullseye. It looked like it was close to it at least, and it looks like a 6 or even a 7 from the third one, and the fourth one does get a 6 to finish it, but this first one well off towards, that might have even been a 4.5 right in the middle of the 4 and the 5, and that is going to be deemed as a 10 for a 27.5 overall by the Rosemarys, 4th out of 5. These runs have not been particularly bad so far, especially because those first 2 were just fantastic, as the Honeycombs line up in run 6. No big disasters so far, 5 runs in, but some teams would have wished to do a whole lot better, as the Honeycombs line up very cool. Oh my goodness, that is a terrible opening run, all the way down towards 1 or 2. They have to save it now. It's an 8 and a 6 from marbles 2 and 3, and the Captain Beeswax's going to come down last, and they do get a bullseye that will save the run, but where will this line up due to that really poor opener? It's going to be a 2. That is particularly poor for the first marble.
Yeah, this will only contend with the teams at the bottom, and it's going to be last place so far. That bullseye saved it to a 26, which might not get them last place in the event as a whole. But as of right now, they are beating no teams here. Now, Crazy Chickens, also another team subbing in their reserve here. They'll come down first and go off, drifting off, curling to the right side. Second one will save it. I think that's going to be a 9 with the second marble. Third one, I think that'll be an 8, hitting their teammate. And the final one also going off to the right side. All of the marbles here having a right tilt here for the Crazy Chickens. It's not the most consistent run, but they did have a couple of good finishes here. So I don't think it's going to be the worst one here today.
And yes, that is an 8 because their teammate was right up against the block. So no 0 there if anyone was thinking that. That is an 8 and a 28.5 fourth place for the Chickens. If the marble is a little bit away from the block, it will be an interference and you could get a 0. So you've got to be careful in that regard if you're going to try and angle your own teammates, as Team Mayhem line up for the halfway point of this event. And the first marble again goes off to the right for only a 4. They have to try and save it now. It's an 8 for marble 2. He brings it back a little bit, but again goes a little bit wide. Does member 3 and member 4 will not be able to save it with a bullseye. But that wasn't the best display by Team Mayhem. 2 very poor results, straying well off to the far sides. I don't know where this will be. It could be toward the very bottom for Team Mayhem, as that third one and the first one really drags it down. And 24.5, 8 out of 8 so far, and pretty comfortably for Team Mayhem. That is not what they were hoping for at all. The gold medalist in the first event has struggled since, and they're currently sitting in 8th. But those first 3 runs, in fact, looking at Platoon, Party Crashers, and Cheese, will still have the provisional top 3 going into the second half.
Yeah, consistency really is key for Lagoon Platoon. 8-8-9-8, that is the mark to beat right now. Citrus Sprinters in the 9th run, first one in the second half. We'll see what they can do. And many of these marbles drifting off to either side here. Citrus Sprinters won't do that so far. They have a pair of 8s, I think. Third one will be a 6. Oh, and their teammate will come in the way for the final marble. That put them off kilter. They was looking very good for their anchor. But I think that might cost them even the lead or second place here. With one of the marbles, I think, going to get a 6 going off to the right side, to the left side, and that is 7th out of 9 after it was looking so consistent again for the Citrus Sprinters. That 6 is going to hurt them. Now the Blue Brigade, a team that has done well in archery before. Blue Sky put to the 2nd position. We'll see what that does for them. And off they go here. First marble will go off to the right side. They'll get a 6, but they go nicely out of the way for their teammates. Second marble, I think that'll be a 7 or a 6 for them. Oh, and the third one way off to the left side. The anchor will get an 8, so no bullseyes for the Blue Brigade. I think this will be a far cry from what they've done in this event in the past. This is not going to be the Lagoon Platoon. It's not going to challenge the Party Crashers either. And what's it going to be? It is 10th. 24. That was dead last. Actually, I thought that was worse than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that is not what the record holders would have been expecting from that. That is a particularly poor result for Blue Brigade, and after their silver in the last event too, they're going to be very disappointed in an event they were particularly pretty good at, as Team Sunrise followed that up with a bullseye to start. Straight away, Beams get themselves in a 10. It's an 8 for member 2. Marble 3 comes down now and does actually, they hit their teammate and get a second bullseye, and that closes out with a 6. That is a spectacular run by Team Sunrise. I believe my early math is telling me it might actually be enough for first place. I want to see that third run again. An 8 by member 2. Member 3, there you go. It's the first place. 34 for Team Sunrise, and the deflection for the bullseye on Marble 3, absolutely genius by Team Sunrise, gets them into the lead for now, as Crystal Pistols line up for run 12 after their goal in event 5. They would like to get back to that kind of form here. In an event where they did decent in the qualifiers, they go off to the far side for the first marble, and they go off again, but not quite as far. Remember 2, it's a straight bullseye, beautiful bullseye by Marble 3, and closing that with an 8, another good result here for the Crystal Pistols. They won't quite match Team Sunrise, but it should be up there.
Yeah, after the first one drifted a bit more than they would have liked. They recovered nicely with their other 3 marbles, and that's good enough for third place. 31.5, leading a train of teams here from third on down. They spawned into third place. Very nicely done for the Crystal Pistols. Could they perhaps return to the podium? We'll have to see. But the Croissant Crew now start the final quarter of runs here. Team Sunrise still the mark to beat. Oh, a couple of the first 2 marbles go off to the left side. It's not looking good for the Croissant Crew. The third one way off to the left side. The anchor has a good run. I think that might have been a bullseye, but this is a catastrophic run as a whole for Croissant Crew. That's going to be dead last for sure. Yep, 21.5 despite a bullseye at the end with a 1 and 2 teams, 2 marbles in the 5 range. Disaster for the Croissant Crew.
Yeah, that was truly paltry by the Croissant Crew. after a good stretch of events. They've been struggling in event 6 and now 7. White Knights get a decent first run, who want to get back to fine form after some struggling recently. They do get 2 in the middle there. That's going to be a bullseye, surely. It looked like it was tilting towards the right, but it was going to be a bullseye to close out from marble 4. Where will this put them overall? There were 2 that were a bit off. Actually, no, there were none that were that far off. They're all 6 or above, and it's good enough for 3rd place. 32 for the White Knights. Very good run. They're back to what they were like at the start of the season. They can get no lower than 5th as Marauders line up in run 15. Previous gold medalists in the last event, defending champions. They want to try and catch the Greyscales as best they can. Oh, but it's a poor first run. It goes well up toward the 4. Second run can't recover it up towards the 10 or the 8. It's going to be how these final few can save it, and it's not going to go well for member 3. But member 4 does capture a bullseye to save the run a bit, but this is not going to even compete for top half, I don't even think.
No, this is going to be bottom half. The inconsistency plaguing them. It's going to be 12th out of 15. The winners of the last event at the hands of the reserve, well, their main members can't follow it up with a good result here. And now the opportunity is open for the Greyscales. Can they get a point on the board? Can they get a medal? We'll have to see here. In front of their home fans, the bullseye to start off. What a way to start off for the Greyscales. How can they follow up with the other marbles? One of them, I think, will get a 9. The other one goes a bit off to the left side, but it's looking good for the Greyscales. Is that another bullseye? The Greyscales might have just staked their claim for a gold medal here in the final run of the day. Did they just do it here in archery? And yes, they did. 10, 6, 9, and 10. A team that got dead last both other times archery was held. They recovered in the best possible way, on top. Gold medal here in archery. What a run by the Greyscales.
Oh my goodness. Truly unbelievable. They have indeed proved the naysayers wrong today. A gold medal to stretch their lead even further over the Marauders, who had a poor finish as well. Team Sunrise and Lagoon Platoon will round out the podium, but what a story, what a team, and what a host.
And as a result, 114 points for the Greyscales. The next team is Team Sunrise with the silver, with only 76 points. It's really Greyscales and then the rest here in Tour de Endurance in Season 5. But still 9 events left in the A-League for anyone to pull off a miracle and dethrone our host team. After this, to round out the first half, we will have the Team Funnel Descent.
Oh my god. I know. I can't believe it.